Hey everybody, here we are in my home. It's a cool evening. We have a little bit of a fire going. And I'm going to read chapter 8, but I'm not going to read it all. It's kind of long and it's going to end up getting cut off unless I stop partway. So this chapter is called A Dance Upon the Meadow. Poppy and Aerith continued traveling west. Though there were many trails from which to choose, there were no clear signs to follow. The best that Poppy could do was to keep them moving in a westerly direction. For Aerith, it was a point of pride to refuse to ask directions from anyone. But why? Poppy wanted to know. Ask for directions and you're admitting that you're helpless, the porcupine pronounced. The only thing that matters is that I know my way back home. When they did meet other mice, voles, a badger, once a deer and her fawn, it was Poppy who asked for advice. We're looking for the brook, she would say. Do you have any idea where that might be? The other animals were more than obliging. When these fellow travelers knew where a brook was, they explained how to reach it, and Poppy and Aerith did find them. One or two large brooks, some three of smaller size, but no golden mice were to be found. And here's a picture. Aerith, Poppy finally said, we don't seem to be getting any closer to where Ragweed said his family lived. Do you think he might have been confused about which way he came? Probably, Aerith grumbled. I admit, Poppy confessed, I'm beginning to wonder how much longer we should go on. Aerith came to a quick stop. Fine, he said. Let's go home. The anxiety in his voice caused Poppy to consider him thoughtfully. You've been awfully quiet lately, she said. Is something bothering you? Oh, sparrow swit, Aerith barked. Can't a fellow keep his thoughts to himself? Of course he can. Look here, Poppy, the porcupine said. I'm not used to being with others. How many times do I have to say it? I like being alone. Well, that's fine, the mouse returned. I was just wondering. Well, stop wondering, Puzzball. But the forest does seem to be thinning, Poppy pointed out. Maybe we are closer to those woodlands. Aerith looked about. I prefer the dark, he said. Poppy sighed. I'm going on a bit more. Do what you want, Aerith growled. By midday, with the trees thinning more and more and the sun beating down hard, it became too hot to travel. Aerith announced he needed a nap. Without even waiting for Poppy to reply, he rattled off the trail, found a shady spot in a tree, curled up in a ball, and went to sleep. Poppy rolled over on her stomach, plucked a blade of grass, and chewed it meditatively. Before her spread a small meadow. Surrounded on three sides by trees, it had a closed-in, secure feeling. The grasses were low, sprinkled about with flowers. She noticed yellow viola, forget-me-nots, and bluebells. There was a scarlet false mallow and some lovely lush poppies. A black and orange butterfly came into view, fluttering its wings like a slow-motion dancer. Soon after, a fat bumblebee, legs bulky with golden pollen, worked its way from flower to flower. A fast dancer, Poppy thought. As Poppy looked on, something stirred within her. To her surprise, she felt lonely and empty, yet full and content, all at once. How, she wondered, could she feel such contradictions? Then, as she watched a dragonfly dart by, she recalled that it had been a long time since she had danced. When she was young, a few months ago, she had thought a great deal about dancing. She even had wanted to be a dancer. Sighing, she recollected that she never had danced with Ragweed. They had meant to. Now she felt the desire to dance again. With a nervous glance up at Aerith to make sure he was still sleeping, she got to her feet. Poppy checked a second time to make sure her friend was asleep. She was in no mood to deal with the porcupine's teasing. When he didn't stir, she lifted her front paws as if to pluck the sun from the sky. Her tail began to wave to a steady beat. A miniature melody, halfway between a whistle and a hum, rose to her throat. It was no particular tune, just something she made up then and there. She took one step and then another, gliding forward, pretending, wanting to be as graceful as possible. With every step, her heart seemed to lighten. Within moments, Poppy was leaping about, skimming the surface of the field, bending and bowing, twirling and whirling, hardly thinking, aware mostly of the sun's warmth that caressed her fur and the cool grasses that tickled her toes. Oh, how she loved to dance. Oh, how she loved life. Almost overwhelmed with emotion, Poppy closed her eyes, spun, dipped, and danced some more. Then she opened her eyes. Standing before her was a mouse. Poppy gasped. For one indescribable moment, she thought it was Ragweed. The mouse before her had the same orange-colored fur. His whiskers were fair. His tail was not very long. His ears were small and round. She almost cried, "Ragweed!" but could not find the tongue to do it. Then she noticed a small notch on this mouse's right ear. This was not Ragweed. Even so, she stood there, transfixed, staring, heart pounding, as fast as hummingbird wings. For his part, the strange mouse stood absolutely still, gazing at Poppy as if in a rhapsody. Who do you think it is? I'll show you that. There's the picture. So, got Poppy and this mouse. And I am going to stop there. I'll probably stop and then just go ahead and finish chapter 8. So, see you soon.